Good morning. I want to share a couple verses from the book of Romans. Rome was a place where, when Paul wrote this, he had not been. Now, he would get there, and there's some ironies with this. We're going to talk about it today. But it was one place he hadn't been, and it was a significant place. We'll talk about that. But here's what he writes in chapter 3 of the book of Romans. There is no one righteous, not even one. There is no one who understands, no one who seeks God. All have turned away. They have together become worthless. There is no one who does good, not even one. And it goes on from there, okay? So here's the story. Throughout Paul's adventurous life, he has a goal. He keeps wanting to get to Rome, okay? And that's so he writes to the church in Rome. Rome was it. Rome was it in every way. I want to give a shout out to Philip Yancey. I'm borrowing some stuff from his book, Meet the Bible. Rome was the center of law, culture, power, and learning. And from that capital, the powerful empire ruled the entire Western world. And so he wanted to get there. A tiny church starts up. And so you've got this tiny church in Rome. It's like, can it survive? I mean, how could it survive versus Rome? One of the ironies is now that often when people say Rome said today, they're referring to the Catholic Church. I mean, in the end, it won. And the church won, so to speak. And nobody really thinks about the Roman Empire having much influence anymore. But if they were going to make a dent in the world and in the culture, they're going to have to make a dent in Rome. And in the end, they did. So he prays for the church constantly. He's able to write a letter there where he doesn't have to correct problems because he doesn't know anybody there. It's like, it's very different than him writing a letter to some place where he started the church. He didn't start this church. He doesn't really know too much about it. So it's an amazing book because it's free of dealing with problems and things like that. And so it's a great book to read. You can treasure it. And in the end, he gets taken there on Rome's dime because, well, he's arrested. And to me, it strikes me as very interesting that he finally gets there. And long story short, he's martyred there. He was beheaded because he was a Roman citizen. Peter made it to Rome as well. He was crucified upside down. He was not a Roman citizen. And so both of them get there, and it seems like it just fails epically, right? Or does it? Like, you know what I'm saying? It's like the Roman Empire is not still around, but the church is still around. So many years ago, I went on a mission trip. It was actually my first one as youth pastor. And there's two students that, I mean, our youth group was tight, and once students went on a mission trip, usually they were at youth group every week. And there's two students, one guy, one girl, that were on that trip. They were great students, loved all the students. They certainly had leadership possibilities, but they stopped coming to youth group. They'd show up once in a while. I'm like, I felt like a failure as a youth pastor. I mean, I thought they really liked the trip to Haiti, and I thought that they connected well with the other students, but they were just busy at school and all kinds of other stuff going on. In short term, it really looked like that didn't work. I hear other youth pastors talk about developing student leaders, and I'm like, these, we've got some great ones, but these would be, anyway, so that's like almost 40 years ago. Still stay in touch with both of those students, and it's true, they really didn't end up at youth group a whole lot. But they've both been in full-time ministry for decades and decades. And they both look back on that trip to Haiti as being just a seminal moment, that something that pointed them in a new direction in their life. It's just that we didn't see the fruit right away there, but there's been plenty of fruit. I say all that to say that, Paul could have looked at it like, I guess this is a failure. Jesus, people could have looked at what he did even on the weekend that he died, like, well, that was a failure. Oh, but God has a way of taking what looks like nothing and doing something awesome through it. May God do something awesome through the seeds that you plant today, though you may never even know it. God bless you. Have a great day.